Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday to everyone out there. Welcome and to my YouTube channel today. My name is Eric Coffie, the host of GovCon Giants podcast. If you've never heard of me before, we actually interview the top small businesses in the country, helping dissect some of their habits, their traits, things that they've done well, what they've been successful at, and bringing them to you, all of you small businesses out there in the world, so that you can get an idea of how to master the game of government contracting so that you can build a business, grow a business, scale a business, all those wonderful things that we want to do here, leveraging the biggest customer in the world, the United States federal government. Thank you so much for joining us. If today, what I want to talk about, right, is some of us have seen charts like this, and if you've never seen this before, I'm going to get right into it. This is what's called OASIS. So it's a best in class vehicle. I'll explain what that means for some of you who are catching on. But essentially, what the government does, if you've never been on my channel before and you don't know anything about government contracting, this may not be the class for you. We're going to talk about government contract language today. Hopefully, this will be more of a you got to go back, rewind it, and listen in. So, one of the things that I did was I said, I looked up and I just pulled this up on the screen. I'll go back to it real quick. Hold on. Let me find my chart. Where's my chart? All right. So, Oasis, this vehicle from February, fiscal year 2015 to fiscal year 2021, the government spent $43 billion in obligations, over 3,000 task orders, 40% obligated to small businesses, 70% of the task orders went to small businesses. And so if you're sitting out there saying, hey, I see this stuff and I hear about this stuff, but I don't know how to get it, then you're in for the right video today. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you get access to this? So my man File Fly says, I need the info. So while we are waiting for people to join us, just let me know who's in the audience today. Tell me who you are, what is that you do, the city that you're from, and the name of your business. That'd be great to help us so that I can know who I'm talking to in my audience out there. But let's go back to the profile that I had on the screen with the Oasis contract. Just before I jumped on, I did something interesting and I Googled Navy IDIQ, right? And so when I Googled it, Navy picks 8 firms for $1 billion in IDIQ contracts. March 27th, Navy, NAVFAC awards $35 million contract. Navy awards IDIQ for $4 billion on the Canes program, 7 spots for $2.5 billion design build services program. $1.2 billion for this. It just goes on and on and on and on. And then when I Google the Army, same thing. 5 days ago, Army lays out strategy for a new $1 billion contract. Aberdeen Proving Grounds, examples contracts, RFI for modern software development, 12 seats on a $450 million modernization vehicle, right? 5-year IDIQ worth over $100 million, awarded position on $450 million. You get it. Announce a new $50 billion IDIQ, right? You get what I'm talking about here? So if you're like me and you see all this stuff, you're like, how do I get this? How do I get a piece of this? And I'm suspecting that there's some people out here that are thinking that, right? How do I get my piece of this? So what I want to talk about is essentially what's happening now. Going back to this chart, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of it. However, the current administration just did a record spend, and I'll pull it up. Where was it at? Sorry, I got a couple of, as you can see, I got a couple things pulled up on my screen I want to talk about tonight. Just keeps me on track. Okay, here it is. So this came out from the SBA. This was marked April 29th, so a few weeks ago. And it says that the Biden-Harris administration, they spent a record $178 billion in contract spending with small businesses, including veterans, small disadvantaged businesses, while making strides for HubZone and women-owned businesses. $178 billion is what they spent. All right. By the way, can you guys hear my sound? I don't see anybody respond to me. Is my sound on? I could get a whole video long and then no one tells me my sound's working. Is my sound working? Is my sound working? No, I got the wrong microphone. There you go. How about now? I had the wrong microphone. I'm sorry. Is this better? Is it better? Yeah. Okay. So when okay, okay, okay. All right, got you. So you guys missed the first part. All right, cool. No problem. All right, good, good, good. Okay, now you can hear me. Perfect. All right, so going back to what I was discussing. All right, I'm good now. Thank you. All right, so going back to what I was discussing, right? The government spent a record $178 billion. I don't know how many people on this call tonight received any of that money. I certainly did, but not to the tune that I felt like I should have probably deserved. But we did carve out a nice chunk of that $178 billion. So what's happening, right? And why is it that you guys aren't getting a piece of action? So let's talk about that tonight, right? Why is it that you're not getting a piece of the action when they're spending $178 billion, right? When right here it says they just awarded 7 spots on a $200.5 billion design build services contract, IDIQ, right? When this Navy awards $4 billion Canes program contract, why are you not getting a piece of that? So what's happening? There's a couple schools of thoughts here. Anybody heard of best in class before? Anybody ever seen this before? Best in class? Yes, no. So what's happening is the government now, and I'll make this small and make me big. I want to put it in a corner some kind of way. All right, it's not working. So what's happening is the government is awarding larger and larger contracts. And so what's happening is the small businesses that are successful are becoming larger and larger as well. So much to the point where there's the idea now being tossed around of making a second small business category for small businesses over $100 million. Did you guys hear me? It's getting to the point where they're considering making another small business tier for companies that do over $100 million in revenue. So while all of the other people are sitting back like, hey, I've got women on, I got hubs on, I got all these certs, I don't have any contracts. The people that are successful at this are busting through this 9-figure level, right? And now they're saying, hey, we're not a $1 billion company. So can you help us out as well? Right. And so they want to create a second small business tier for like a mid-sized company over $100 million. Yeah. Right. So let's talk about that. So what's happening is when I first started doing government contracts, a lot of these things that are happening today did not happen before, right? They weren't making such large awards as they are now. These are becoming more commonplace. And if you want to see an example of that, right here is you can type in, and I'll drop this in the chat for people. You can type in DoD defense contracts, $7 million, and this will show you a list of all of the contracts. Here, I'll pull it up. I haven't gone over this in a while. Okay. By the way, we're going to talk about a first partner challenge today, the 5-day challenge. So I just want to, if you guys have any questions about the 5-day challenge, let me know because we're going to bring that up. We're going to talk about that as well. So I'm going to tie that into the story first, but I want to talk through you guys. So whatever questions anybody has about the 5-day challenge coming up, we'll talk about that. But I want to get through some of this messaging stuff first. So if you have not already seen this before, I just dropped it in the chat. But you can come over to the Department of Defense, and they have on their site, which you just saw, every single day, all of the contracts over $7 million that were awarded, they post them here. Now, before when I got started, it was a $5 million chart. Now it's a $7 million chart. I suspect it's going to become a $10 million chart. So now, if we look here, right, just May 31st, a few days ago, General Electric, $400 million contract. This company out of South Texas, $33 million contract. L3 Communications, $33 million contract. EXP, also there's multiple firms on this, $240 million contract. Conti Federal Services, $65 million contract. Weeks Marine, $27 million. You get my drift, right? So you could come on here and every single day, this is happening. Every single day. Look, look. Okay, this chart is happening. So what's available, meaning that this is available to you and to everyone watching. This information is available that you can go search for it. It tells you about the contract. It gives you information about, and then you can go back and do some further research about the details of it. So, what is it? How are we tying this into our 5 day challenge and what we're talking about? The challenge that I see is happening with most small businesses are we continue to operate in a silo. We continue not to seek out help. We continue not to partner. We continue not to work with each other. And so we believe that some kind of magical way that we're going to be able to take on contracts of this higher magnitude without working with other people. And so the reason why I designed the first partner challenge, which you see here, the 5 day challenge, was because I am under the belief that now in 2024, you have to have a larger strategic partner in order to start doing significant government contracts. In 2024, okay, you have to have larger partners in order to start doing government contracts in a significant way. You could start off with very tiny opportunities. You can start off uh, grinding, right? Flipping minimal things. But in order to start making a significant strides in this marketplace, to build a substantial business that's going to be long term, you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. And so the idea behind our 5 day challenges is helping you to take your talents, your skills, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So I don't want to get into tomorrow's topic, but taking your talent, your skills, your network, building upon the network, identifying companies who need your help, right? That you can strategically align with them so that you can bring them to this marketplace and you can start tackling some of these opportunities. I don't believe that until our government system changes the trajectory, that it's going to get any better. And so here I am encouraging everyone to do government contracts, and I still believe it's the best business in the world. I just don't believe we can do it the same way we did it in the past. And so we need each other and we need some partners. The good thing is that there's a lot of people out here that need our help. There's a lot of baby boomers that are retiring that, again, their kids don't want the businesses. The kids are not interested in the businesses. There's a lot of people that are looking for, right, someone to come in and show them the way and share in on the rewards. And so that's the idea behind the first partner challenge. Our 5 day challenge coming up starting June 10th is that how do you find that first partner that you can team up with so you can tackle some of these bigger opportunities? Imagine, right? Hear me out. Imagine, okay, right? If you and also let me say something else before I jump into this. I want to say something else. I know that the majority of my audience is minority, okay? Um, there happens to be a stigma around minorities that we only like to do certain type of industries, right? So we flock to easy industries like janitorial. Like I see people all the time doing notary services. I see people, like people doing. Again, we like to do those easy industries. Because we don't like to really challenge ourselves or challenge our thinking or challenge um, we what we've not been exposed to. But I would say, right, that some of my most successful podcast guests, they worked in the most difficult industries and they don't know anything about it. Did y'all hear me? Some of my most successful podcast guests work in the most difficult industries. Like one of my podcast guests does nuclear testing. You don't know nothing about no nuclear testing. I have another guy that does like satellite water, like the balloons. I say water balloons because that's comes to my brain, but those balloons and the satellites that fly in the air, you know. And so I know people that work at the different Department of Energy facilities where they do all of the very dangerous stuff with you know, not solar, but like the like nuclear, whatever renovation or remediation, whatever the case may be. But I want to say that can we try to break some of the stigmas and maybe go after some of these harder industries because people out here that are in those industries, they're the specialists of the work. You're going to be the specialist of doing the business development to get them more work. And so, believe it or not, you don't have to know the actual industry to be able to help do the business development, right? And so, you can literally pick the industry that you're interested in. For example, I got my son now starting to do some business development for environmental remediation, which he knows nothing about. And so, but when he called up remediation companies about partnering with us, they were like, "Yeah, we always want more business." So I want to caution you to think about it in a different way. You don't have to pick something that is you're like, "Hey, Eric, well, I'm a blah 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 blah, whatever." I have this kind of like, my aunt cleaned houses, so I want to clean. Like don't have to do that because the idea behind the 5 day challenge and our first partner challenge is if you see an opportunity in an area, then we're going to look for partners in that area who have the expertise and the skill set to so we can work with them to take them to the prime contractors in the government. Does that make sense? So I just want to say that right before we jump into this because I think a lot of times we get caught into that space. So let's go back in here and so look, okay, they develop real-time signal processing solutions for command control, power constrained platforms to exploit next generation 5G communications waveforms and associated technologies. That sounds pretty complicated. That's pretty cool. All right, $54 million. Construct a training officer's quarters. Okay. Bids were solicited via the internet with 3 received. So on this $54 million project, they only received 3 bids via the internet. When you get so we'll take that one example here. Let's stick on this example, right? So this company just won a $54 million contract here in Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, right? If it was awarded by the Louisville, Kentucky Army Corps of Engineers. So if I were in Wisconsin and I was like, okay, Eric, I'm in Wisconsin, what can I do? I'm going to go after companies who can perform on this $54 million contract. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to take some of those companies and say, hey, listen, let's do this. I'm tracking some government contracts that's coming down, and there's an opportunity that I think we may can do. Let me see how we can go after this. With your permission, if I can, present your company to some of the prime contractors and some of the government facilities. I'd like to be able to do that. And then in exchange, if we were in a contract and whatever you guys agree upon, would be, my piece of action. Does that make sense? So now, like here, you can literally see everything that's going on, right? Now, by the way, if you guys notice, I'm not in sam.gov. Nothing I pulled up is sam.gov. Have y'all noticed that? Nothing sam.gov. So let's, again, when we're looking at, right, how do we start to, again, the theme is get rich fast, right? Well, these are the biggest contracts that are being awarded in our space every single day. And they're publicizing them for all of us to have access to this information. And what are we doing? Nothing with it. Nothing. Nothing. So all this stuff is available. They're telling all these different programs, all these projects, right? And how many of you have reached out to anyone on any of these projects before? I can tell you, probably none of you, because when I hear the story of people tell me is that Eric, I got my certs and I start bidding on sam.gov. That's what I hear people tell me. And or I hear people, the other thing that I hear a lot of times from small businesses is that, well, Eric, uh, I reached out to some of the primes and they want to put me on a vendors list, right? They didn't want to hear from me. So the reason why these bigger companies don't want to hear from you is because you can't solve their problem. You, the individual small business who just getting started, who does less than $1 million in revenue, can't solve the problem for these people that are on this $2.5 billion IDIQ. You can't help them. That's why they're not calling you back. You don't think they call people back that can solve this problem? They got a problem. They need to get this work done for the government to make themselves look good. So they're not calling you back because you can't solve their problem. Make sense? So again, let's think strategically, right? And let's think about, right, how do we tackle this strategically? Okay. So we've got these big companies that have these big projects that need to get them done. Okay. And then we've got all these baby boomer companies out here that they're on their way out. They're not necessarily being as aggressive with bidding, chasing work, looking at new opportunities because why? They're on their decline. They want to retire. They want to get away from the business. So to me, that makes a perfect match made in heaven where you go in and identify those entities that have the skills, the past performance, the history, the performer, the financials, the cash flow, everything to go out and support them. And I guarantee you, when you do that, right, that's when you'll get a call back from the prime contractor you're trying to sub underneath or the government agency you're trying to work with. Never fails. Never fails. All right, so let's talk about the challenge. All right, so first partner challenge starts June 10th. I think we're still selling tickets until June 8th. So you got 6 more days. And what we do over those 5 days is we're going to go over exactly what I talked about, right? Here are my coaches. So, each day we're going to have a coach come on and share in their experiences. These are all people who've done it. They've successfully partnered with larger businesses and they've successfully taken them to whether it's a government agency or a prime contractor and won contracts in terms of millions of dollars and some of them in terms of tens of millions of dollars. So it's not just me talking anymore. I'm bringing the actual coaches on to talk and share with you their experiences so you can hear it from other people that look like you, that may sound like you, that might be close in your position. I know a lot of times people say to me that, hey, Eric, maybe I'm too far, like far away from the area. So now um, I want to bring other people that are a little bit closer, that don't have as much experience to me, have them come to you and be able to share an experience. In fact, Justina, so it's funny, Justina said she was in the last one. So we had 98 people in the last one, a night cohort. And Justina was in the last one. And it's funny, Justina, you just messaged me on Federal Help Center recently. You met one of my podcast guests who does hundreds of millions of dollars. Did you not? So Justina was in our last group. And since that time, uh, she's had the opportunity to come and see me at an event and then also meet one of my podcast guests personally, got their phone number, and this company does hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. So if you're sitting back and you're saying to yourself, right, I have all my certifications, I'm registered, why can't this happen for me? Just think about, are you, right, putting the best company, right? And one of the things about successful people is that they recognize that maybe they're not the best. I think a lot of times us as small businesses, we don't recognize that we're not necessarily the best. Can you just admit that maybe you're not the best? That doesn't mean that you can't be successful and make a lot of money. You don't have to be the best. But can we go get the best and bring them to the table and make them our partner, right? That to me is a much better proposition than you saying, "Hey, I'm going to be the best one day. If it takes me 30 years to get there, I'm not," and I'm not opposed to that. But the title is "How to Get Rich Fast." My friend Travis, I've been with him the last couple of days. He's speaking at an event tomorrow. I'll be with him at another event Thursday. He says it takes 5 years to build something. So again, I always say that the government contracting pathway, if you want to be a prime, you want to grow from zero, I love that for you. No knock on anybody. I believe it's a great thing. I think it's extremely difficult and it's a long path. And you've seen maybe a chart that I had before where I talked about how it grows slow. So it's a get rich slow. This is um, get rich fast. So that now what happens is ultimately, right, you can start doing contracts in months instead of years. So that is the distinction, right? Because we're recognizing I'm not the best. I'm going to go get the best. And then when I get the best, then you have no problem screaming, yelling, kicking, bragging to the ceiling like, hey, I got the best subsistence company out there. I got the best oil company. I got the best diesel fuel company out there as my partner. I got the best nuclear remediation company. I got the best environmental remediation company, right? And so now when you're partnering with the best, then you take that to the primes or the government or whoever, and they're like this. Like, what you want? What you want? So I say that because again, given the new climate and what's happening out here, I really feel that we should be striving to work with the best so that we can be the best. Because guess what's going to happen? They're going to level you up too. So they're going to level you guys up. So let's go through again today's topic, the 5-day challenge, right? So day one, we're going to talk about defining what does a partner look like, right? What is a partner, whether it's a teaming partner, subcontractor, prime contractor, joint venture. Day two, we're going to define your avatar partner. So depending upon what your goals are, right? What does that look like for you? The type of partner would be ideal. Day three, building rapport with the partner, right? So how do you get someone to agree to be your partner, right? A lot of times we hear from folks about having mentors. So again, this is having partners. Day four, right? How do we start to build a connection with this company? Because right, we're striving to get companies that are successful. And so, how do we convince them to want to work with us? So we go over that in day four, and then day five. How do we set the standards for a long-lasting relationship? So, what do we need to do to make sure that we both win and that we're both happy? We're both moving in the direction that we talk about. And so, those are the 5 days. And so immediately, you're going to join this particular group inside a Federal Help Center called the First Partner Challenge Group. And so you join that group, and all the information is going to be there. The event days, the times. Last time it was 4 to 6 p.m., 5 days in a row, and they're all recorded. And so then you'll see the recordings will be there. The homework assignments will be there. All the community will be there. And so everything is happening right here inside of Federal Help Center. So you won't have to go any other place. In fact, now the courses are even in here as well. So before the last time, it was a little bit confusing because the course was on another platform. Now we're hosting the course that you need that goes with along with the 5-day challenge inside of Federal Help Center platform. So everything that you need will be here, including the coaches, myself, and then the previous 98 persons who took the last cohort. So we're going to be building upon that. So we're looking for another cohort of about 100 people. That'd be great. And so again, that's the gist of the challenge. So going back, right? I want everyone out here to get a piece of this $178 billion. And I get it. If you have a business already, you're saying, Eric, well, I got a business and I want to just grow my business. That's fine. We still have, right? Like part of everyone needs to learn how to do government contracting. So I have not moved away from teaching people how to do government contracting. We've got in there our Federal Contract Academy where we teach you how to go through. We've got Contract Academy. We've got, in fact, let me pull it up on the screen. I'll go back here. So on here, on our federal group coaching, we still have our Federal Contract Academy. So we've got Mastery, we have Essentials, and then we have Comprehensive. So we broke it up into 3 different sections. So we have Essentials, which is like the beginners, and then Comprehensive is like the middle ground, and then Mastery is like when you really want to do advanced learning. So we still are teaching people how to do government contracting. We've gotten away from that. If you want to just focus on growing your XYZ type of business, no problem. We support that. This is just essentially saying, okay, how do we take the best of what we've done, right, and make it even better, and also give people more things that they can have so that they can start to propel their own business. Because I don't want you to think that if you've got a business and you're doing $2 or $3 million a year, that, okay, Eric, so this is not for me. No, absolutely not. Because if you're doing $2 or $3 million a year and you partner with a $10 million a year business, that's going to give you more credibility with them. Also, when you help take them to that customer, you can figure out how you want to divide up the contracts. So it's great because all we're saying is, again, let's put together a stronger team, right? Let me show you this right here. Let me pull this up. Let me show you something. What do you guys notice about these companies that won this contract? I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to try to make this obvious. Does anybody see this contract was awarded again? $2.5 billion IDIQ, right? Can someone say the first name says Black Construction dash Tutor Perini joint venture? The biggest companies in the world are putting together joint ventures. So why are we, the small guys, not doing the same thing? The second one says Cortec dash HDCC dash Kajima or Kajima. That's, again, this says Gilbane Federal joint venture. Granite Obayashi 2 joint venture. So if the biggest companies in the world, by the way, does anybody know how big Gilbane is? Gilbane is like a $3 billion company. Anybody know how big Tudor Perini is? Or, like, these are already huge established firms out here, and they are still not saying, oh, well, I don't want to work with them. No, they're still partnering. But us smaller firms are saying, no, I want to build on my own. I want to grow organically. I don't want to take on money. I don't want to take up. We don't want to learn how to do this. So that's why we're not getting the success that we deserve. We don't want to take the time out to learn how to do this. If they're doing this and they're billion-dollar companies, why can't we do this at million-dollar levels or $100,000 levels, right? So again, for me, I believe that this is the strategy for small businesses in 2024. And I'm going to say that. In fact, I'm giving a keynote speech on Wednesday for MBDA class of 300 students. And this is what I'm going to be preaching. Now there is no time like no another. You're not going to participate at significant waves of chopping down at 178 billion alone. I can promise you that. Kendall just says business isn't meant to be alone. It isn't. So why do we continue to do that? So it should only make sense to you guys when we talk about, right, finding your first partner. That's why I call it the first partner challenge, right? Because we want you to find your first partner that's going to help you get to that next level. And so, whatever that means for you, if that means a six-figure contract, if it means a seven-figure contract, whatever that means for you, I'm not even defining that for you. All I'm saying is that you need to have someone else that you're working with that has skills, capability, competency, that's an expert, so that you can now get more callbacks, get more government to respond to you, get more people to talk to you, and be proud, right? Be like, I want you to be proud when you go out there and you start speaking to the government people. I want you to be proud. Like, many of you are not proud of what you do. Tell me I'm lying. Many of you are not proud of your capability statement. Many of you are not proud, right? I hear you talking. Like, y'all talk to me. I meet you all the time. I meet you at conferences. I meet you at events. I meet you wherever I meet you at, right? And then when I tell you, when you like, you be like this, right? You're not like boasting. Why are you not boastful? Because you know you're not the best. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to offer the government a half-ass solution with a subpar contractor. That's really what it is. So for me, I'm saying, okay, if you know that, let's just be honest with ourselves and say, look, I know that, like, I'm Joe Ragbag and I'm not the great. Look, it's a lot of people can clean houses better than me. It's a lot of people can clean whatever buildings better than me. Cool. Right? This is about being truth to yourself, right? And saying how, like, you're not going to be successful getting over on people. Just telling you right now. A lot of times I think we've believed somehow as small businesses that if I just wave the I'm a woman flag, if I wave the, I'm a minority flag, that we don't have to deliver and we don't have to execute and we don't have to perform. That's really hard, by the way, if you ever tried doing it. And it's really hard to do it consistently. So I'm trying to say, listen, guys, leave that to some people that like to do that stuff. Come with me over here on this side and say, look, let's help those people get more of that work so they can keep them busy because they like doing that. Cool. They can have it all, right? Let's keep them busy. And then, we continue doing the business development side and we continue to help growing the business. And again, if that's your competency and your expertise and you want to do a piece of that, then carve out a piece that you feel like you're the strongest in and then let them have the rest. Right? You like say, Eric, no, I'm really, really good at this piece. Okay, carve out that for yourself and let them have the rest. Questions about the 5-day challenge. All right. Does the partner also need to be registered as a government contractor? Again, depending upon what you're trying to do, the answer is yes or no. Let me give you an example. I won't just leave you off with a politician answer. So if you are doing business with the companies here, like we just mentioned, right? So if you're doing business here, you don't need to be registered as a government contractor to be a sub for Lockheed or Boeing or any of these guys. They don't care that you're a government contractor. You only need to be registered to be a government contractor if you're going after prime contracts directly. All right. Brad says, I'm looking at substance contracts, talk to several importers, wholesale supply. One's on the apartment is too expensive for competition. So look at other products. Well, Brad, my question to you would be, what made you choose substance, right? So I'm always curious of what made you choose that, because that's where I would start, right? What made you choose substance in the first place? All right. What else? Chakra says, I got my seat. Look forward to seeing you, Chakra. NJC, anyone interested in anything medical? So again, NJC, there's a lot of things in the medical space. But again, you want to find an area where you can have some sort of expertise and domain, at least domain expertise, not you personal expertise, domain expertise, meaning that the company that you're partnered with is like they're number one in that category, right? So one of the things I think a lot of people don't realize is when I tell the story about my last contract that I got with my company, Evankoff, for $5 million, construction wise, the reason why I got that contract was because the materials that they wanted, there was only two companies in the country that made these panels. So there were these special type of panels that go on the outside of a building. Two, two. So there were two companies in the entire United States that made these panels. Two companies. I picked one of the two. That's it. So I automatically was working with one of the best companies in the country for this particular product. They did 30 million. I was $200,000 in debt. They said, Eric, we'll make you look good. I said, thanks. They put up the money. I didn't have any money to put up. They did the work. I didn't have any employees because I was in debt. They gave me the pricing. I didn't know how to price this stuff. I never did that kind of product before in my life. Eric, what made them want to do that for you? Well, simple. I had access to the contracts. That's it. And did I have any type of specialty access? Nope. I had access to the same information I'm presenting to you guys here. The same charts, the same diagrams that I'm presenting to you here. So I think a lot of times we feel like, right, we have imposter syndrome. And I know we do as minorities. We all have imposter syndrome. But can you do me a favor and just try it? Can you try it? Make that commitment to yourself. Make it to your family. Make it to somebody that you care about. I don't care what it is, your grandma, your newborn. Find something or someone that you care about so much that you will make a commitment to try. Because the worst thing in the world we could do is to quit before we even try. I'm telling you that there's people out here that want to work with you. I'm telling you that there's companies that do tens of millions of dollars that could use someone like the 54 or 68 people that are on this call today. By the way, hit the like button, please. I forgot to tell you guys. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. So again, I think a lot of times we are using our self-doubt, our limiting beliefs, and we're saying they would never want to work with me. Why would they want to work with somebody like me? Look at me. I live in a $50,000 house. I pay $1,000 a month for my apartment. I don't even have the best suit. I don't have the best this or that. That doesn't mean anything. Uh, a lot of times, I can tell you this. I have people that live in very, very bad, poor conditions in third world countries that I've never been to their house. And I have people that live in big mansions that I've also never been to their house. So at the end of the day, we really don't know where anybody lives at. If you don't ask them, most people don't come to your house anyways. So when I would start making my videos on YouTube, I lived downtown Miami in a balcony, but I moved from downtown Miami to a $45,000 house. Y'all didn't care. It's ego. You guys got to get out of your own way. It's egotism. This is ego. I lived in a $45,000 house. I showed it to you on a previous video. Go back and look at that video. No one cared. But guess what? Even though I lived in a $40,000 house, I was spending $20,000 a week at Home Depot fixing up my rental properties. I was investing in real estate. So while everyone else was being shallow and buying cars and buying jewelry and stuff, I was buying real estate properties, investments, fixing them up. Because why? I bought my house cash for $46,000, spent another $15,000 fixing it up. But I didn't have to have the ego to go and have a high priced lifestyle so that I could show off to people who never even come to my house in the first place. All those videos of mine that have the bookshelves, the white bookshelves in the background, those earlier ones, I think that house that I bought, that was the next house I bought was like 140 grand. So again, I think that what we have to do is realize that, hey, I'm just listen, Can we say this? Can we say this? Um, I'm not the best, right? If you could be honest with me, hey Eric, I'm not the best, right? And I know I'm not the best. So that's why the government is not calling me back. That's why the government doesn't want to do business with me because I'm not the best. I can't offer value to them. But what I can do is I can go find the best, convince them to work with me, and then I can go back to that same government person and take them the best. And now they will respond to my calls. They will give me access to sole source and negotiated projects. They will tell me about stuff that they ain't supposed to tell me. Because why? Because you have someone that's capable, qualified, competent, has capacity, and can deliver and perform. And so now, right, when you're gonna feel better. You know what it's like when I take my companies out of Rhode Island. By the way, I work with the two top black contractors in Rhode Island, the state. How come everywhere I go, I work with the best people? One of my friends that I have on speed dial is the best black contractor in Chicago. He did over $150 million. He's 44 years old. Why do these people my phone? So wouldn't you be proud to say, I work with the best XYZ company? Wouldn't you be proud? Like, don't it make you feel better calling the government? Now, when you go to a government and you want a industry day or you at a conference somewhere like that, you walk around like, hey, look, I got, you can't touch us. This is what I want for all of you out here. And that's what the 5-day challenge is about, right? That's what our first partner challenge is. I'm trying to take you guys as just admit to yourselves, I'm not the best. I'm okay with that because I'm going to go find someone that is, and again, whatever that means for you. Someone that's doing, $1 million a year, someone's doing $5 million a year in that category that can deliver and perform. And so now, right, when you show up, you show out because when they get that contract, they're gonna kill it. You already know it. Like I have no problem when I pitch my companies. Like when I take my guys, when I go to meetings, like that's why. Like I don't know if you guys know, but last week I was in Haverhill. I was in Massachusetts. Matter of fact, I'll pull up the pictures for you guys. So last week I was in Massachusetts on a whim with one of my podcast guests, and I was there because I was speaking to him about doing some work on a project, and he told me that he was hold on one second. So so let me zoom in real quick. So this meeting literally happened within like a 2-week notice. So the guy in the shades is my podcast guest, Bobby Brown, Bronco Oil. This is his facility in Haverhill, Mass. You see the Bronco Oil logos at the top. And so him and I were on a call and we were discussing about his, bringing rail cars and his oil business and growing and now it's scaling. And he wanted to do some work up in the port up in Maine. The guy to my left in the brown pants is one of the contractors that I work with up in Rhode Island. Again, we'll probably do $30 million this year. And so he said, okay, Eric, if you think it's a good deal to try to help this guy get oil to the port up in Maine, why don't you fly up and let's meet? So from a Friday podcast, the next week I had a plane ticket booked, and then the following week I was up there en masse and we had this meeting set up. The reason why that happens is because I knew that both people could deliver on what they said. And so again, working with the best makes it really easy to be able to say, okay, let's put a deal together. And so now I'm taking the guy in the blue I got him this recent $5 million contract in May. We're going to get another $5 million contract after the fiscal year ends. Okay. And then I'm taking the oil guy and I'm going to partner him up to bring oil and diesel and biodiesel up into the port up in Maine. So again, the reason why this happens is because I work with the best. So when you do that, it makes it really easy to start putting deals together. Makes it really easy to call any of these companies on any of these contracts, right? And say, hey, right? This $50 million IDIQ, this $450 million IDIQ. It makes it really easy to start reaching out to them and saying, I have the blah, 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 blah. I have this company that's this specialist in this. I have this company specialist in that. Okay. It makes it easy to work with Oasis contractors. It makes it easy to work with any of these best in class vehicles. Again, if you want to know where to start, look here, these categories. This is where the government, right? This is some of the vehicles that are built. All of these are billions of billions and billions of dollars. So again, how do we do it? Look at all this stuff: Army chest, NASA suit, right? Mass IT, all this stuff. 8A Stars 3, GSA Alliant 2, Veterans Tech Services 2. All of these things are billions and billions and billions of dollars. But before we get there, right, we got to start here. So again, looking forward to answer any question about the First Partner Challenge. 70 people are now joining us. Please hit the like button. I hope you guys on my screen is First Partner Challenge. You can just type in firstpartnerchallenge.com. I'll drop the link in the chat. Also, let me do this. If you have questions, make sure to call us, email us. I know a lot of times people have questions that don't get answered on here. So I'll put the numbers in there so you guys can call us. Questions, comments. Kendall says, there's no imposter. You're stepping outside your comfort zone. You belong. Bradford said, I chose something because it comes out quarterly and would give me the time to partner with someone in preparation for the next contract. When you say it comes out quarterly, what do you mean, Bradford? I don't know what that means. I guess you're meaning that the bids come out quarterly. Well, listen, Bradford, all the stuff that I'm showing you on the screen is out now. Like everything I'm talking about is out now. Chakra said, I sent you an email about my registration. No problem. That's perfect. Mama says, I didn't start a business as of yet. It's in the works. Will this help me find partners within trucking? Mama, it helps you to find partners in every business. Yes. But I would say this, Mamba. I think when you finish this example, you may not want to do trucking. I personally, I think that from my experiences, what I'm seeing is a lot of people in the trucking industry is having a hard time. I've talked to some major people that have hundreds of trucks, and they're having a hard time right now. So I don't know, right? If you have not chosen an industry, you might. I would probably, again, going back to what I said in the beginning, I might choose something that is a little bit more difficult, that the government, right, is looking to turn towards. When you deal with like trucking logistics, typically there's a couple of major providers like Crowley, and they've really got that thing locked up. So that's a hard space. Logistics is different because you got logistics at bases and facilities, but trucking is just a much harder space to go after to do this. But I mean, everything else is wide open on the table. What if we find a partner worth millions during the challenge? Can a person with no experience handle this? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the idea. So let me show you something. That, like, the purpose of the challenge is for you to find a partner with doing millions of dollars. Like that, chakra, that is the purpose of the challenge. Like we're not doing this, chakra, for you to not find a partner worth millions. Like that's the goal. Um, we want you guys to find partners because that's what's going to help you to grow and succeed. I'm trying to go through this chat real quick in our last challenge. Okay, here you go. So, and this is in the chat right here. Hold on. No, go up. But yeah, the goal is to essentially work. Yes, that's what you want to do. But again, beginning a beginner is not. So let's talk through that. Let me answer the question. Being a beginner, right, Shakar? The idea is you are going to do business development. So we're going to train you how to sell to the government. The idea is that you are not supposed to know how to do the work. In fact, if you look, and since Chipotle is in the news lately, how many people see Chipotle CEO in the news? If you look at most of the CEOs of like the Fortune 500 company, those people were appointed. They don't know how to do that stuff. If you take out the founders that were owners, like the guys who actually founded the company, and look at just the CEOs, they're not the people that do that stuff. It's only us minorities who feel like we have to have the direct knowledge in order to manage a partnership. Now, what you do need to know, and what we're going to teach you, is the business of government contracting. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah. So Wendell, again, uh, we tried to explain. So the minimum for the ticket is the $4.99, right? And then again, the $7.99 is VIP, right? And then the actual course where we teach you to do government contracting is the $19.99. So that essentially, because again, what we're doing is stair stepping people. So if you buy the ticket, right, then you're just going to be in a challenge, but you're not going to have access to the actual courses. Whereas if you buy the $2,000, you're going to have access to the actual training course that teach you about government contracting. So again, it's just for people who look, we want people to get into the challenge. We want you to get a partner. And then the ideal sense, we want you to find someone that you can partner with. So now you have a reason to learn government contracting. That's my goal. I think a lot of times what I've seen in my past history is that when people came to me and I sold them courses, they were confused about what they want to do in government contracting. So I was like, okay, it didn't help me. I can't teach you if you're confused about what you want to do. So now what I'm saying is, if we help you find a partner in the beginning, or at least you're working towards getting a partner, then you have some direction where to go at. And now you have a specific focus what to tackle and learning the government contracting space. Does that make sense, Wendell? The oil company is called Brocco Oil, Justina. All right. Questions about the challenge? The $4.99 does include the consulting, yes. Yes, it does. I thought we put that in there. Yeah. I mean, it says it here. Let me put on the screen, right? Yeah. You get the blueprint consulting. Yeah. See, lifetime access. It's in there, $4.99. Questions. So again, so I like Kendall's questions. They're great. And yes, the answer is yes, Kendall. So Kendall's question is, do you think it's possible to consult reform for the sake of buying them years down the line? And so what Kendall is talking about is actually an advanced strategy that is where we're headed. So ideally, Kendall, my plan would be for you to partner with them so that you can start helping them grow. And then we could look at how you can actually buy into the company, right? And eventually, right, years down the line, you might end up becoming a majority shareholder. So that's exactly what we're talking about, Kendall. I got some people, I got to lead them down the path first. I got to get people to believe in me, to get them to do the partnership, to get the contracts, Kendall, before I could start telling about the advanced stuff. But yes, you are exactly where we're headed. In fact, some of my partnerships right now, they're wanting me to help you guys, train you to build you up to where you're doing 3 to 7 million, so that they can acquire you. But that's really advanced, Kendall. But yes, that's definitely where we're taking people at. That's where we're taking you. So absolutely. That's what I want for you. So Wendy, a trucking company you need the course, right? Because if you want to, because again, we teach you government contracting in the courses, right? So again, going back, if you have a trucking company, right? So you need to know, right, where's the government buying what you sell? How do you, what are the areas where they buy it? How do you respond? Who do you talk to? What do you say? How do you put together proposals? That kind of stuff. So that's what we teach you in the courses, right? So the course teaches you that piece. When it comes to the challenge teaches you how to do partnerships with larger businesses. But again, the challenge is part of the course anyway. So if you buy the course, the challenge ticket comes with the course. So, but yes, um, definitely we have to teach everyone how to do government contracting. So we don't get away from that. I want everybody who's tracking me, we don't get away from teaching you how to do government contracting. So I'm still going to be teaching everyone government contracting, just that we're just kind of like taking you through like a series of like intermediate steps, if that makes sense. Yes, you're right on time, Kendall. And I by the way, Kendall, with that type of attitude, you're gonna crush this space because the idea will be, right, if you come into it that way, which is by the way, it was what I'm doing, the same thing, Kendall. I'm gonna start acquiring companies around November-ish time frame. And so I have a holding company that I'm gonna start acquiring companies. And so for me, I'm doing the same thing, but I don't want to. I gotta get my community of people. Right? I say all you guys in my community. I gotta get everybody out of their comfort zone and at least learning about government contracting, giving them a reason to do government contracting, giving them a reason to have some experience, giving them some wins on your belt. Right? This is the fastest way that I know how to do it. Yeah, Wendell. Um, so again, realigning your company for S corp, C corp. I don't really, to me, that doesn't matter now. What I need you to do is I need you guys to get experience, right, doing government contracting. Tequila, do I have a course? I mean, that's what we sell is government contract course. It's called Contract Academy. So again, when you when you guys come to my page and you open it up, right? Federal Group Coaching. This is uh this is our course where we talk about everything from writing proposals, doing bids, sources sought, uh, how to do the research on who's buying what you're selling, how to call government agencies, what are the top 5 people that you need to talk to in government. So this is our course. It's 1997. But if you click on it, you can actually put down 50% down payment for the actual course itself. So what we've done is, and I'll take you over here and I'll show you. So that is broken up into 3 categories. It's called essentials, which is the beginning. Then we have comprehensive, and then we have what we call mastery. So that's what we have in terms of the course. Okay, all right, took you. All right, no, I was like, what do you mean we have a course? All right, good, I appreciate it. I'm like, yeah, we have courses, but yeah. I'm like, we start off with that. And so for me, we start off with that because, but what I've learning is that with the course, and I said this, a lot of people don't know what direction they want to go in. So they're confused. So I'm trying to give people the direction to go in so that they can take advantage of the materials in the course. The cause is I'm not interested in self-performance jobs. Yes, that's exactly what the challenge is about. Because I'm not interested in self-performing either. So we're on the same page. And you are very smart for doing that. Because self-performing is hard. It's really hard. So I agree with you. That's exactly what we're talking about. Do you think that certification help reach out larger firms? Chrissy Rock. So again, I really believe that what we talked about in the beginning helps, right? Are you the best? Can you offer value? Do you have competency, capability, right? So for me, that's what helps. I'm not a big fan of certifications. I actually don't hang my hat on certifications. So for me, I personally believe that again, having a strategic partner that you can go in with that says that they're the best, along with a certification, I believe that helps. But if you just going to go to someone with a certification and you're not the best and you can't solve their problem, then I don't think it helps. No. Mama said, Sykes McKenna said, hey, Ken, let's get out lunch. We'll hit 4 goals, champ. No, no. What Kendall says is spot on because, but we got to get you guys started. Like, I got to get everybody started. So I got to get everybody started doing government contracts, learning government contracts, understanding government contracts first. So that's why we're, again, yes, going back, we still sell courses, but we also want to make it so that for those people who don't have a business, right, give them an alternative to what they can do in this space besides flipping notebooks. Look, I'm not the guy that tells you to go out and sell products. We do teach about products, but everything that I want to teach people is how to make real significant money, not side hustle money. So we don't want side. I personally don't teach side hustle stuff because it's not sustainable in my opinion. But real growth, real business, real opportunity, like Kendall said, doing acquisitions, selling your businesses. That's the stuff that we do because that's the stuff we teach. I mean, like that's the people that I roll with. Those are my circles of people. So that this is becoming, if you start listening to me, my videos from 5 years ago, we weren't talking like this. If you listen now versus my older videos, and you look at if you're following me on any of my channels or any of my other social profiles and see what we're doing, we're at, the people that I'm in, the circles I'm in, the rooms that I'm in are all people that are doing acquisitions. So that's where we're headed. So Bradford says, I love what you're doing. So the ecosystem is on Federal Help Center, by the way. So again, for all of you who are not on Federal Help Center, right, please go right here, type in federalhelpcenter.com, okay, and that's where our ecosystem is, right there. So go on the Federal Help Center, join a community, get involved. Don't sit on the sideline, just get involved, right? Don't sit on the sideline. All right. Let's see what we got. So Bradford, I just put in the chat. Federal Help Center, that's where you want to start. All right. I'm going to answer a couple more questions. I'm going to get out of here. All right. Brand new. What do you believe best way to start state contracts? No. I actually think state contracts can sabotage a small business and cause you to go out of business. So no, I think state contracts are terrible for small businesses who don't have a lot of experience, and more importantly, for small businesses who don't have a lot of capital. So if you don't have a lot of capital, I think state contracts are really bad for you because a lot of times state contracts pay you very, 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 very slow. Can you wait 120 days for your money? Can you wait 180 days for your money? If you can, then you can do state contracts. If you like to get paid in 15 days, then you want to do federal government contracts. Like get paid in 30 days, government contracts. Be careful. If you are considering state or local, all right, I don't care what nobody tell you. Do your own research. Don't listen to me either. Go to the municipality, wherever you're doing business with, ask them how fast do they pay their contractors. Ask them. Make sure. Hey, what does your data suggest? How fast you've been paying your contractor for the last blah, 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 blah. Ask them. Don't believe me? Ask them. Just don't trust like you think or assume that you're going to get paid fast. Most of us just make these assumptions that are really wild that somehow the state or city is going to pay me fast. Now, what I've seen is in some cities, like maybe you're in Atlanta, okay, maybe I'll have, like minority people that are running your city. So maybe that helps you out. But if you ain't got no kind of favoritism in those cities, you could, I've had people wait 6 months to get paid for Miami-Dade County, which is supposedly this huge, rich city. But keep this in mind. Why do they do this? Because states and cities and municipalities run on a budget. What does that mean? What's a budget? We all have a budget. Well, they cannot spend more money than their budget allows. So if a natural disaster happens or some sort of, which happens every single day, we have natural disasters, right? Fire, earthquake, wind, whatever. Then to pay the contractors, right? If you already have a balanced budget, to pay the contractors means you have to go outside of your budget. So that's why states and cities have declared disaster zones, right? Because then they get federal emergency dollars to offset the cost to pay the contractors. I'm teaching y'all some game here. Go look it up. Don't believe me. People tell you to do this stuff. They ain't, listen, I'm not saying it's going to happen to you. I'm just saying you're not exempt. So again, states and local government, if you've got money, you could float. And some cities, cool, that works. But most of us don't have that. The only way my boy really took off at the city was he had a huge lines of credit. So now he's able to float the money. He ain't crying about it. And so guess what? The vendors that can't float the money, they can't bid these projects. So he wins it because no one else can float the capital. So, all right, I'm just telling you, people don't say this stuff. Look, think about how many times when your city or your state has something happens, they declare a natural disaster. Why do they do that? Does anybody not see why they do that? Why they declare it natural disaster? Why they declare it disaster area? Federal disaster, right? Why they do that? Here. 23 FEMA disaster declarations. Okay, Florida hurricane, Illinois severe storms, Mississippi. Why do they do this stuff? They do it so that they can get money from the federal government so they can pay the contractors and the vendors. They don't do it because they just want to say, oh, we just want to say it's a national disaster. No, they do it so they can get the funds so they can pay y'all. But until they get the funds, they still have to get the work done. So they hire you without having the money in place. And that's how people get stuck. Trust me. I know people have been in that situation. I've been in that situation. So the federal government just prints its own money. They don't care. The state look offer percentage of contract value for faster pay, they do offer that, Kendall. Yes, but they don't. That doesn't mean if they don't have the funds to do it, then what difference does it make? So you guys ain't never heard where your city or state government declares a natural disaster? Y'all ain't never heard that? Y'all never wondered why that is? You think that's just because they want to just sit around and say they're a natural disaster area? Nobody ever thought, well, why do they say why isn't it a disaster? Right? Why declare that? So they can get dollars. And then they get the dollars, they can pay contractors and vendors to do the work. That's how it works, guys. They have to have balanced budgets. So, but listen, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, again, we'll see everybody in the challenge coming up. Looking forward to seeing everybody June the 10th who hasn't joined us. Any more questions? There's emails below, contacts below, and then we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys. Good night.